You know that point in your journey when the energy just drops. You started with ginger and fire. You had the planner, you had playlists, even a vision board. But somewhere between week 3 and week 6, when the hype dies and real work has begun, motivation quietly packs its bag and disappears. If you've ever wondered why your drive fades right when you need it most, stay with me. Because by the end of this episode, you'll know why motivation naturally dips, what your brain is really doing during those seasons, and how to stay connected when growth gets boring. Hello, my name is Olatunde Akinwunmi, and you're welcome to the Brick by Brick broadcast, where we build a life that feels like you, one principle, one habit, and one brick at a time. If you're serious about designing your growth this year, hit subscribe, tap like, and share this with another builder who is on the grind. All right, let's talk about what really happens when motivation leaves the chat room. Early growth feels electric because the brain is high on dopamine, the anticipation chemical. Neuroscientists at Stanford have found that novelty floods our reward circuits with dopamine. It's our brain's way of saying, keep going, this is new and exciting. But here's the twist. Once that task becomes familiar, dopamine normalizes. You are no longer chasing discovery, you are now managing repetition. But that's not failure or stagnation. It's neuroplasticity. Your brain is literally getting better at what you are doing. It needs less effort to perform the same task. So the emotional fireworks just fades. Think about learning how to drive in Lagos. The first few lessons, adrenaline pumping, your clutch, you're holding your brakes and, hands everywhere. But a month later, you are dodging kekes and potholes while thinking about the jollof rice your wife is cooking at home. The thrill is gone, but that's proof that you've become a driver. Psychologist Mihail Csikszentmihalyi has called this the flow channel. Is that zone where challenge slightly exceeds skill. Too easy, and you get bored. Too hard, and you get anxious. So if your work feels dull, it might just mean that you are under-challenged or that your brain has simply stabilized at a new level of skill. Either way, boredom isn't the enemy of growth. It's evidence that you are actually growing. If it feels boring, it's because your brain has leveled up. Congratulations! Hey, you are improving. When I created GrowthForge framework, I designed it to make this process predictable instead of mysterious. GrowthForge breaks transformation into 3 progressive stages. The first is called the Core Forge, where you reshape your character and your mindsets, your identity, your beliefs, and your emotional regulation. The next is called Focus Reactor, where you install the systems that protect your attention, your time, your energy. And finally, the Shipcraft, where you turn developed competence into visible results and real-world impact. Each stage builds on the last, so that growth just stops being something that is a motivational gamble and becomes an engineered rhythm. Now, let's stay with the rhythm for a moment, because in the middle of growth, what I call the stretch season is where most people fade. You've passed the spark stage and results still feel very slow. This is where I see 3 kinds of builders emerge. The first one is the quitter. He walks away and he calls it timing, right? The second one is called the grinder. The grinder keeps pushing, but is joyless, and then burnout arrives. And then there's the craftsman, who redefines progress as practice, not just pleasure. The craftsman understands that mastery isn't just fireworks, it is rhythm. They keep showing up because meaning replaces motivation. Look at Temigiwa Tubosum, the founder of Life Bank Nigeria. When she started delivering blood and oxygen across chaotic cities, it was groundbreaking. But after the awards, after the press, after all of the TED Talks, what kept her going wasn't just hype. It was purpose, saving lives and not just trending hashtags. That deep why turned long nights and logistic headaches into part of the mission, not proof of failure. In fact, Harvard researcher and author Teresa Amabile calls this the progress principle. Small wins create the most long-lasting motivation. Every time you complete one micro task, whether you reply to a client, you logged a rep in the gym, or ticked a box, your brain releases a little dopamine hit, and that reinforces momentum. So when growth feels dull, zoom in until you can see progress again. Micro wins are indeed the oxygen of long-term projects. Within GrowthForge, this connects directly to the stage 2, which is Focus Reactor. Your energy, your attention, and time boxing keep motivation alive when excitement fades. When you protect your focus and measure small completions, boredom turns into rhythm, and rhythm beats motivation every single time. Motivation doesn't just live in fireworks, it lives in rhythm. We've been told that passion keeps people going. Science says otherwise. Passion fluctuates, but systems, they stabilize. Researchers Edmond Deci and Richard Ryan have showed that sustained motivation comes from satisfying three psychological needs: competence, autonomy, and relatedness. When those are met, people stay driven, even when the tasks are repetitive. That's why stage one, core forge, matters so much. Identity plus habits create automatic motivation. Let's picture this: a pyramid. At the base, we have systems and structure, the habit loops, anchors, friction audits. In the middle, we have your states and your energy, a calm nervous system and recovery cycles. And then at the top, there's a spark and meaning. That's your purpose, curiosity, and then service. Motivation flows bottom up, not top down. If your base is cracked, height can't hold you. And this is where the growth excellence code comes alive. Consistency over intensity. States before strategy. Feedback as fuel, not judgment. So here are 4 quick resets you can start today. The first one is to re-anchor your identity. Play a 60-second growth anchor from Core Forge every morning. And this is part of the Growth Forge program, right? The second one is to reframe boredom. Always say out aloud, my brain is adapting. It's not failing. My brain is adapting. It's not failing. And number 3 is to reset your states. 2 minutes of box breathing before deep work. And then number 4, we have reward the reps. Track your streaks. Celebrate small wins, maybe every Friday. Stop chasing motivation. Just build a system that doesn't need it. Psychology calls this the Yerkes-Dodson law. Too little stress equals boredom. Too much equals burnout. The goal is the Goldilocks zone. Just enough challenge. When you feel the dip, don't scrap your plan. Tweak the difficulty. Add a new learning edge. Shorten your timeline. Or invite feedback. That gentle stretch reignites interest without necessarily overwhelming you. And where you need a tangible anchor, you can download the free micro momentum tracker from today's episode. It's part of the Habit Autopilot kits inside the Design Your Growth system. It's a simple one-page sheet to log small wins, streaks, and reflections. Use it daily for 7 days and watch how visible progress rewires your motivation. Your job isn't to stay excited. It is to stay engaged. Boredom doesn't mean you've lost your edge. It just means that your brain has evolved. Consistency is the real currency of mastery. Systems and identity will always outlast feelings, and meaning is the quiet fuel that keeps builders steady when the applause fades. So which builder are you right now? The quitter? The grinder? Or the craftsman who keeps laying bricks long after the music stops? You can drop your answer in the comments because I read every single one of them. And if you are ready to design systems that make motivation automatic, you can apply to get an invitation to join the Sovereign Order of Vital Architects. It's a community of focused life architects, building fulfilled lives one brick at a time. The link to do that is in the description. You will also grab the free micro momentum tracker I talked about earlier by joining my newsletter, the Drafting Table Daily. The short science-based insights to keep your growth alive. The link is also in the description because growth isn't about hype. It's about harmony. One step every single day, one brick at a time. Till I see you again, my name is Olatunde Akinwunmi. Keep building.
This now, brick by brick broadcast. Live your full potential on purpose.